Sweet. Sweet. Well, you guys are definitely going to get to hear a lot from Eli tonight. He's one of our newer up and coming agents out there in Midland, Texas. He's doing awesome. Not only is he, writing business himself, he's brought on some new sharp agents, and he's building his agency as well too. So he's not just doing the selling, but he's recruiting, building an agency, which is, where you can get some long-term freedom in this deal. So just a couple before we get started. Tonight's call, it's Monday night. I know a lot of you guys have family stuff, obligations. We're going to keep tonight really, really short, right around 30 minutes. But it's going to be jam packed. So a couple things before we get started. For those of you guys who don't know, we were in a bonus for Corebridge the last 3 months. So this is the most insane bonus that any carriers do. So if you're writing final expense, every carrier pays different for their level product. Okay. Corebridge already pays the most. They pay 92.5%. Some carriers pay 82%. Some pay 85%. Some pay 88%. They pay 92.5%. They pay the highest out of anybody, except for Transamerica now has a new product, but it's a little bit more expensive and stuff like that. We can talk about their new product later, but we already like them because we love their app. If they're approved, you keep going. If they're not approved, it kicks it to graded or whatever. We already like everything about Corebridge, but they just finished their $7,000 bonus. That ends today. I know Aaron's in the running for that. I know Andre's in the running for that. I know a lot of you guys have either hit tier 1, tier 2. So starting tomorrow, this is tier 3. So let me go over this. Roberto just sent this to me. This is huge. Meaning this is on top of your commissions, okay? So Q4, this is the biggest one they've ever done. No company does anything like this. I laugh at it because Forrester's is doing something where they're paying you $10 extra for a little children's policy, and they're paying you $50 extra, which is great. I mean, it's great for Strong Foundation, Advantage Plus 2, and Smart UL. So like if you wrote 20 of those, you'd get $1,000 if you wrote 20 Strong Foundations. If you write 20 apps, so get this, cumulatively, and this is SIWL. So this means it doesn't have to be issued at leveled. It can be graded. Guaranteed issue doesn't count. They have their level, they're graded, and they're guaranteed issue. Okay, they're all 3 different prices. So if you hit tier 1, it starts October 1st and it runs to the end of the year. So you have till December 31st. If you write 5 apps with Corebridge, you get $250. Okay, big deal. If you write 5 apps, if you write 10 apps, they pay you an additional $2,500 as soon as you write 5 more apps. So your cumulative bonus is $2,750. So if you do 10 apps, not only are they pay, this is on top of your commissions, okay, so that's in 12 weeks, or technically there's 13 weeks. In the next 13 weeks, you write 10 apps, it's less than 1 app a week, you get $2,750. If you write 15 apps, they pay you $6,250. Okay, $6,250. And if you do the 20 apps, you get 10 racks, baby. You get 10 grand. And you guys, this is a huge bonus because, Christmas is right around the corner. The holidays are right around the corner. So a lot of your guys' Q4 bonuses are going to be paid right around the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that kind of stuff. They send you money throughout as long as the business is on the books for a month. Okay. So the first payment goes through that next month as long as it's still active. If you have the 5, they send you the $250. You have the 10. As long as 10 policies are on the books, if one falls off, you have to replace it, whatever the case is. So you guys should all go hit that. I'm fixing to hit that. That's awesome. 10 grand, that's insane. So that's number 1. And then number 2, before we get the call started, for those of y'all who, I know most of you guys are aware, we have in 3 weeks, we're all going to be going down to boot camp in Orlando. It's at the Orlando airport. There's a hotel down there. And we'll have about 1,000, 1,200 agents from all over the country. And it is our last big event of the year. Okay. Nick is going to be training at that. It's the first time we've done a different event where there's going to be 3 different rooms and specific trainers are in different rooms. So like, let's say you want to go see Nick speak. You can go see Nick speak. There'll be 3 different speakers at 3 different times, and you get to pick the person that where you're at in your business, they relate most to you. So let's say somebody's training on virtual sales or current clients or whatever. And in this room, they're talking about the trust and estate stuff, and you don't really care about that. Or maybe that's what you really care about. You go in that one. Or Bell's talking about annuities in this one. So there's going to be like 35 different speakers, all people who are making multiple 6 figures. And you can just choose. It's kind of like a boot camp built for you. So rather than just 8 trainers and they're all training on whatever, you can go see who you want and in what room you want to get in and pretty much put it to you. So we got a bunch of stuff we're going to go through here. We got Eli on just because he is absolutely killing it. I know before we kind of jump into it, Eli, kind of share your story, because the first time I even met you was when we did the boot camp in Denver, when we did our annual Legacy Life trip. So that was, I know you just got licensed, or you were in the process of getting licensed or whatever, but kind of tell people, where you're from, where you live, where you're from, how long you've been with the Alliance, and what made you, jump on this opportunity. And then we'll go into, what you've done from there.
Okay. Yeah. So, originally born and raised in Mississippi, good old Southern boy. Lived in Florida for a few years, but somehow found my way out to Midland, Texas, out here in oil and gas company, oil and gas world. So, yeah, when I came to Denver, I wasn't licensed yet, and I remember Panda Dave saying, "Hey man, go get that license, dude. Like, get on it." So I got back from that in June, and I got licensed, and then got contracted with everything in July. So that's really when I got started. And I know Rachel. Rachel brought me on, so um, you know, her husband knows my girlfriend, and shout out to Raymundo because he kind of recruited me in a sense. Um, so he was telling my girlfriend like, "Hey, this is what Rachel, my wife, is doing. She really likes it. She has a lot of flexibility. She's making some great money, works for herself, and all of those things really piqued my interest, and that's what kind of got me thinking about it and really just pursuing it."
Yeah, definitely. So you were primarily in the service industry a long time, right? I mean, is that mainly?
Yeah, 15 years working bars, restaurants, from Mississippi to Florida. That's what I was doing here in Texas. Had worked my way up to a management position at a bar out here, and I enjoyed that industry. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've had a lot of personal growth with it. It's treated me pretty well, but I mean, as any bartender, bar manager knows, as you get older, you're looking to get out of that nightlife. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's one thing when you're young and single and you get to meet a bunch of people. It's really cool. Like I have, a girl on my team who's in St. Pete, and she's just doing it to meet people, but she's 23 and just graduated college, and it's just to network and stuff like that. Once you have a family and kids and your spouse works a 9 to 5, and then you're working, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m., it's tough. You know what I mean? It's not easy. So,
right.
and then you're working weekends. I mean, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, that typically when, all your friends want to go do stuff because they're working 9 to 5s or they have businesses, you're working when they're not, so.
Yeah, this past month, not working weekends. I called my brother a couple weekends ago. I was like, dude, it's a Saturday night and I'm not at work. What am I supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah, we chatted. You're like, I'm watching college football and I'm not making someone's drinks,
Right. Yeah, I was a little out of my element, but
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, man. And so you did that, and then just so people know, because I know you started with in person. So for those of you guys who don't know, you can either work virtually, you can work in person. Some people do a combination of both. Some people just do in person. Some people just do virtually. Eli started with just in person. This is actually going to be his first week of mixing in some virtual as well. So right now, what kind of leads are you buying? Maybe like what are you spending weekly on your leads or whatever, or how many leads are coming in? Because I know we're on a lead subscription. We're doing the GMR
Yeah.
lead subscription. How
Yeah.
many brand new leads are you getting per week? Like, what are you spending? And then what have been some of the, some of the biggest weeks from that, or biggest sales numbers or whatever?
Yeah. So started out with just those, I got hooked up with some leads. Rachel helped me get some leads, and they were all like C leads in a neighboring county out here, and I got started with those in that first month. I think it was like 100 leads, and I spent probably $200-300 on that to get that there too. And I think I put like 4,000 in the bank account last month, off of that. So that was nice. And then while I was waiting on that direct mail subscription to come through, trying to get 10 a week with that. That you said, hey man, go try out the Bang Bang leads. So I got started with that 3 weeks ago. And that was the $250 for 50 leads. So with that, the direct mail, the Bang Bang and the direct mail, I've been getting about 60 leads a week for the past month since I went full time. So I've got a lot of leads, and it's kind of just learning how to work them too. So, but I just wanted to kind of at the beginning of the month before you said, hey man, go try out these Bang Bangs, I was kind of like, yo, I need some leads. Like I just didn't have enough trying to work, the leads that weren't answering, but not getting any appointments booked for the week. So getting those Bang Bangs, I think helps. And I kind of, honestly, I struggled with those a little bit that first week. Just trying to get that script right and trying to interact with people. But this past week, last week I was doing great with the Bang Bang and the direct mail combined.
Yeah, it's a completely different type of lead. It's a lower quality lead. They fill out less. It's internet lead. Direct mail, here's the best way I can always explain it. They fill something out on, you picture an old person online playing bingo or solitaire, and you know how they don't know how to clear their cookies, and you know how algorithms work. They've typed in something about life insurance before, and then they get a pop-up on their phone, and they're not great with technology. It says, are you interested in life insurance? Fill this out or whatever. So they fill it out. They're like, all right, someone will, whatever. And or if they have a smartphone, all their information can autofill in that phone. So like some of the internet leads, now the vertical leads are a lot higher quality. They fill out multiple pages. They fill out their favorite vegetable. So that's a totally different kind of lead. Once
say, sorry to interrupt you. I will say with the Bang Bangs, something I figured out last week, and I talked to Jeff a little bit about this. If you go into they send you an email, and it'll have like that picture of the landscape with the American flag on it. You can search their name in your email, and it'll pull up that exact photo with their name and info on it. And so with a couple of the appointments I had last week, I just pulled that out almost like you would the direct mail. And I just showed them, and I was like, hey, this is all your info. Like, this is what it said. And it has on there, it's like affordable state regulated life insurance lead. And a couple of those people actually were like, yeah, let's sit down and talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. A lead is a lead. A lead is somebody, it doesn't matter if it's direct mail or you're going to have crappy direct mail leads. You're going to have awesome direct mail leads. You're going to have shitty Bang Bang leads. You're going to have crappy vertical leads. They're leads. A lead is an opportunity. If they were sales, everybody would be in life insurance. All you'd have to do is buy them. And there'd be no firefighters. There'd be no police officers. The resistance is what creates the opportunity. And that's why we get paid such big money, is because there's resistance. If it were easy, everybody would be doing this. It takes skill, just like being a pro basketball player. I can play basketball. You can shoot. You can dribble. You can play a little defense. You can't do it like LeBron or Steph Curry or James Harden or one of those guys. They've honed in their skills and they make millions. You know what I mean? Yeah. Same thing with the people in this business, in the insurance. You can dial. Maybe you don't dial like Mark Hutchison yet, but you'll get there. You can close. Maybe you don't close like he does. We have 4 or 5, our skills are like dialing the phone, getting in the home, or if you're doing it virtually, whatever your process is for that, and then making the sale, getting referrals, finding safe money, retirement. Then when you get into the higher level stuff, retirement, 401ks, moving annuities, writing IULs, things of that nature. Okay. That's when you go from, when you start going from, trust estates, things like that. That's when you go from the $400, $500, $800 a pop to, you find people that have 600,000 just sitting in a checking account, and you're like, what in the hell? Why? You know what I mean? Let's put this money to work for you. And now you make a $30,000 commission instead of a $300 commission. So, but we always have people start with the basics. It's just like someone who's never been in the gym before, and and let's say they live in Wisconsin. They're like, they haven't been to the gym since high school. They got skinny arms. They're out of shape. And you go put them in there with the Green Bay Packers offensive linemen. They're not going to be able to throw up the same weight. Like, they haven't worked out for you don't start someone on 350 pounds of bench press. It's like, hey, let's put 25s on each side. Let's build up some muscle. It's the same thing here. So
yeah.
So that brings me to my point number one is like having a long-term vision with this. So a lot of people see success that maybe myself or Nick or Panda, and there's a lot of other people, Aaron. There's a lot of people, Rachel, that have had really, really good success in their first year. But people don't know our backgrounds or where we started. I mean, I'd been doing personal development for 7 years, 8 years before this. Never made any money, but I've been reading Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I've been working on myself. I was one of the people that never had the opportunity. I had a great mindset. I didn't have the opportunity. There's a lot of people that come into this business. They never had the opportunity, but they didn't have a good mindset coming in either. They thought this was a get rich quick or a get something for nothing. I'll give it to you like this. People that have never been if you're a really, really good employee with a lot of ambition, you'll eventually become an entrepreneur because you'll be tired of being capped.
Exactly.
If you're a bad entrepreneur, you'll eventually become an employee because you can't. The only one, like, I don't call you and I'm like, what are you doing? That, like, you have to make the dials yourself. You know what I mean? You have to, when let's say David Helgeson is writing 25,000 a month, and he says, I do 300 dials a day, and then you do 13 dials a day. No one's calling and yelling at you. You're just shooting yourself in the foot, your clients in the foot. You know what I mean? It's having that self-discipline where a lot of people are better in someone looking over their shoulder type of thing. You know what I mean? So I always tell people, if you've never owned a business, just treat it like a job, like work it like it's a 9 to 5, but it'll pay you like a business. If you treat this like a job, it'll pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it's going to cost you money. You're going to spend leads. You're not going to work them, or you'll dial them one time. They didn't answer. You'll get frustrated, or you'll buy leads. They weren't there, or they no-showed you at an appointment and you don't go back and whereas people that work their leads to the bone, they get everything out of them. So number one, you want to have a long-term vision. So a lot of us, we had previous experience, not necessarily, I never had insurance experience. I just had experience with personal development, dealing with people, dealing with crazy ass people on the phone. You know what I mean? And some people have never, they're like, oh my God, you guys have leads? These people are going to be so excited. I'm calling. I'm like, yeah, they ain't going to be excited. You know what I mean? It's that the lead is making something happen. All the lead is someone that was thinking of life insurance at some point, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. It really doesn't matter. Then it matters your skill. Do they like you? Do they trust you? All those things. So maybe I started on the 60-yard line. Maybe Nick Greco started on the 40-yard line. Maybe there's other people like that guy, the number 2 rookie of the year, Jeremiah Adaki in Houston, saw the opportunity. He's written $440,000 this year in issue paid premium, brand new. All right. Who knows what that guy's experience is? I know he used to be a pastor. He is a pastor. He's got a big network, and people will try and compare themselves to that guy. That guy's starting on the 30-yard line, and he's just punching it in. Whereas there's some of you who have never done sales, you've never been an entrepreneur, like you're starting 3 football fields away. You know what I mean? And so don't compare yourself to these other people. Just like if you've been fat your whole life and you start working out for a month and it's like, well, why the hell don't I look like The Rock yet? Like that, dude, it took you 30 years to get unfit. It's going to take you more than 30 days to get fit. You know what I mean? A
Yeah.
really good book that people, for those of you guys that want to read a really good book about that, there's a book called The Slight Edge. Okay. Let me explain something. The book called The Slight Edge changed my life because it says, okay, Eli and I are in a competition. We're doing bodybuilding. We work out the same and we have similar body builds. Like, let's just say bone, whatever. Okay. Now he's way taller and better looking, but let's just say we're all the same. Okay. Ted, he eats broccoli, chicken breast for lunch. I go to McDonald's, I get a Big Mac and fries. And then for dinner, he goes and eats salmon and sweet potatoes baked. And I go to Burger King and get a Whopper and fries. After a day, are our bodies any different? No. After a week, not really. After like 30 to 60 days, like I might gain 5 to 8 pounds and he might start dropping 5 to 8 pounds. But after a year, it's drastically different. If you've ever watched the thing on Netflix about with them, what's it called?
The Supersize Me.
Yes. That like this small thing, like small errors in judgment in your, and this is not even an insurance thing, just small, like that happens with dialing. I really don't feel like doing it today. You know what I mean? Whereas like I've had days where I make tons of dials, nothing happens. I've had days where I've made a crap ton of dials and I just get a bunch of stuff out of that. But it's doing those small daily things that lead to those long-term things. So Eli, I want to give you guys this because I had a heart-to-heart with him literally last week where he was frustrated, and I'll let you share the story with this, but
yeah,
he ran into a group of people working in person where maybe he had like 7 appointments. He sold like 1, maybe 2 out of them, and people weren't getting their policies. They were just hard in the home. And I told him, I'm like, dude, sometimes it doesn't matter if Jordan Belfort's in there. Sometimes it's not. Yeah, could you get better at the rapport, overcome an object? Yes, you want to continue to get better and get coaching after each session. But sometimes if I'm in there, if Mark Hutchins in there, Nick's in there, hell, it doesn't matter who's in there. Some people aren't going to buy. That's a sales rule. 2 out of 10 always buy. 2 out of 10 never buy. No matter, you tell them, I'll pay for the policy for you. We'll make it $1 million. I'll clean your car. I'll wash your home. I'll pay your policy. You know, they're just negative people. The other 6 out of 10 is where you get rich. You got 2 out of 10 that are just like easy. They're ready. If you just make your stupid dials, they'll buy. The other 2 out of 10 never buy, no matter what you say. They hang up on you. They're rude, whatever. The other 6 is how good are you? You know what I mean? So that's what you want to be focused on. So Eli, last week, we had that conversation and you had a rough week. I don't know if you tracked your numbers, but do you want to say before this last week, because you crushed it last week, but the week before, what was going on in your business or in your life or with your appointments that you made me want to, or you wanted to have that conversation with me?
Yeah. So, I had some personal stuff going on that was affecting my mindset to the point where it was distracting me from like you guys always talk about in the training, is like the activity. I had some negative mindset that was detracting from my ability to go out and be positive and just hit the appointments and talk to people in a way that would be impactful. I didn't have the mindset for it, and I would get really discouraged. And I think I sent you a text, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, I think I'm getting worse at this. Like, what's the problem? Is it me? Does everybody go through this?" And I just needed, and you told me some of those things you just said, and I took a night and just kind of meditated and kind of prayed on it a little bit, and really just took what you said and sat on it. And then I think like the next day I woke up, I was feeling a little bit better. But really, at the beginning of last week, I was feeling a lot better and was able to approach last week with a new attitude.
Yep. And maybe you sold one small policy that week. He had stuff going on with his old job. They were doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and just he was running the appointments, but he wasn't really he wasn't there. Have you guys ever chatted with somebody, and like, I'm guilty of this myself sometimes, like I'll be texting on the phone or whatever, or my head, oh my God, my wife's talking to me and I'm thinking about God knows whatever. Have you ever chatted with someone and they're not there? That's where he was with his appointments. And I don't know how they can do it. These clients can feel if you're not there. So I told him, and this is good coaching for some of you guys, if you're not in a good mindset, don't dial your leads. Like you can snap out of it really fast. Like, read 10 pages of good book, listen to an audio, go talk to somebody who's killing it. Don't just dial leads negative, and don't run up. It's kind of like just spinning your tires. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you guys believe in it or whatever. I thought it was crap for the longest time, but there's something called the law of attraction. You should go watch it. It's documented on Netflix. When you are thinking bad thoughts, just bad things happen to you. You know, like if you're the type of person like, oh my God, I'm going to get hit by a car. I'm going to get hit by a car. If all you think about is, oh my God, I'm going to get hit by a car, eventually, somehow, you're going to get hit by a car, or you're going to get a car crash, or whatever the case is. I'm going to slip and fall. I'm going to slip and fall. I'm going to get attacked by a dog, whatever it is. And a lot of people, when they dial their leads, are like, oh my God, don't. When I dial my leads and I hit the green button, I'm like, your answer. I'm like, I'm putting an answer. You're going to answer. You're going to answer. You're going to answer. And I lean forward. I don't lean back. So I sound different. I'm different. And I just have a different, and if I'm like, screw you, I'm screwed. You know what I mean? Like, I have this energy about it when I'm dialing leads, leaning forward. They're going to answer. They're going to answer. They're going to love me. Other people are like, oh my God, what if they don't answer? What if they don't want it? And they just attract bad shit to their life. You know what I mean? So I don't know how that works. That's one of those things that he was dealing with. He had personal stuff. So I said, dude, go get yourself don't run the other two appointments, call them, reschedule it. And when you get your head in the game, then go run those appointments. And then last week, he had, I think, maybe 9 appointments, and he sold 7 or 8 policies. Same dude, same skill level. Was he that much better last week than the week before? No, it's just his head was in a different space. So just, that in your life, like when you're distracted, when you're not on your A game, it makes a damn big difference. You can even see that with athletes. You know what I mean? When you see an athlete that's just like off their game, like, or their head's in a different place or whatever, and your job as a pro is to get yourself back in there. So I always tell people, point number 1, have a long-term vision. You overestimate what you can do in this business in a year. So like a lot of times, can you go out and make 6 figures, 150? Hell, that guy Jeremiah, brand new, he's going to make like $500,000 his first year in the Alliance, just selling. You know what I mean? And he's building a team and doing all that kind of stuff too. There are success stories all over. There are people, I think my first full year in the business, we made over 6 figures. I know there's Nick, same thing, Rachel. There's a lot of people where we've done really, really well that had previous experience, but what we were doing 3 years ago, our numbers are like 3x, 4x that now. So I always tell people, you overestimate what you can do in a year. Like, you think you're going to be so much further down the road, but you underestimate what you can do in 5. Things 5 years from now. And look, even if you don't do this business, you're going to be doing something 5 years from now anyways. And a lot of people go back to the same crappy life they had before. They think that they're going to get rich in 90 days, or there's somehow their skill level is going to be, and I do this too. I get guilty of it. Like, sometimes I'd compare myself to, and Mark would say, oh, you just say this. I'm like, damn, how does he know? Because the guys ran thousands of appointments. And he's told me the stories of, you weren't there when I booked 9 straight appointments, and 3 of them no-showed me, 2 dark house me, 3 wouldn't let me in the door. And I had to drive 3 hours back with my tail tucked between my legs and have to pull myself off the ground and say, do I want to go get a job, or do I want to give this shit another try? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Y'all aren't there when we went through those either. You know what I mean? You see us now 2-3 years in, when we're making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in a month, and all your leads just answer the phone. No, they effing don't. Or all your people get to no, I had 3 people get declined last week, and I'm trying to figure out how to rewrite them and make that all the stuff that you're doing. You know what I mean? We just have a different attitude about it. So write that down. You overestimate what you can do in a year, but you underestimate what you can do in 5. And so here's the other thing I wanted to bring up about the business. As an entrepreneur, I read this in Rich Dad Poor Dad, and there's something that is so true to this, especially in sales. There's a pendulum like this, okay? So on one side is overworked and underpaid, and on the other side is overpaid and underworked. So this business, there's all this crap like right here. So at the very beginning, you're overworked and you're underpaid because your commission level's lower because you haven't hit any bonuses yet. You have to spend more on leads because you're not that good yet. You got to get more practice. You'll never make less in this business than your first year because you suck your first year. And I'm not saying you're going to make, Eli's already had weeks where he's made $3,000. I'm just saying in general, your first year, you are the worst. You'll never be as bad. You won't be, if you're still dealing with the same, oh, how do I get over when they say this, this, and this? How do I know? Like when I was brand new and they're like, I have Colonial Penn, I'm like, oh, sweet. Thank God you're covered. And now it's like, oh my God, that's the devil. You know what I mean? Like I have my objection for that. Okay, anyways, but like a lot of the things you struggle with year 1, you'll know how to knock that out of the park year 2. Okay. And so you're overworked and you're underpaid. And then you get overworked, underpaid, overworked, and they meet in the middle. That might be 3 months from now. That might be 6 months from now. It might be a year from now. It's different for everybody based on their activity, their skill, and how many leads they're buying. How fast are they getting good? And then there meets a point where it's dead even for about 6 months, 8 months, a year, where like you're working really, really hard and you're starting to make 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 a month. Like you're good, you're competent. You know what I mean? And then there becomes a point where if you keep going, you start to become, especially if you build an agency, but even someone that just sells, that gets really, really good, like Mark, you can still write 30,000, 40,000 a month off 2 days a week from home. You become overpaid and you become underworked because you're all the crap that you went through back here, it catches up, and it's like it's a momentum thing. You know what I mean? So I figured I just have to be, it might take me 3 months, 6 months, a year. I have to get through the overworked and underpaid thing to get to where I'm overpaid. And I wanted to get to the life. How many of you guys want the life where you become overpaid and underworked? Okay. Most all your friends are you're already in the corporate world, overworked and underpaid anyways. So don't be like, oh my God, that sucks, I'm going to be over. Yes, you are here, but there's a breaking point where it all changes. So just it doesn't matter when you get there, but there's going to be a point where you become really competent. It's like, hey, I know if I run 15 appointments a week, or if I dial 50, vertical leads a week, whatever ethos leads, doesn't matter. You already, once you've been doing it for a while, you know your numbers. I need to buy this amount of leads, whether it's $500 for the week, $300, $900. Every lead type is different. If I buy this amount of leads, it's going to issue me $5,000 in premium. That's going to give me $3,000 on the advance. I'm going to get another $1,200 of that later in the year. Boom. That's going to stack my renewals. So a year from now, all your money, it starts to compound, and people don't really get that. They quit they'll throw seeds in the ground and then they quit on their harvest down the road. And it's like, if you can just make it through your first year, this is the statistic I heard. 90%, and this is not just insurance, but this is what I heard from insurance that Mark told me. He said 90% of people can't make it a year because there's so many growing pains in the overworked, underpaid part. But if you can make it a year and you work full time, which is 3 or 4 days a week, 90% of people end up making 6 figures. When you come to our events, you're going to see mainly new people who are just checking it out, and they're going to see all the seasoned people. And then when they raise their hand in the audience, they're like, how many of you guys have written over 100,000 this year, made over 100,000? It's not like 12 hands go up. It's like 3/4 of the room or half the room. It's the half that's been there for over a year. And then the other people are brand new. You know what I mean? So they haven't even been here a year. So I always tell people, like, just make it a year, go to all 4 events, get better, work on your skills, and just don't give up when shit gets hard. There's a book called 3 Free from Gold from Napoleon Hill. And it talks about how most people, like, it's the hardest it'll ever be right before you strike gold, right before you find that person that's got $700,000 sitting in a CD and you're broke as a joke, and you run into that person, and literally that annuity changes your life. And they've been waiting for somebody. They're like, we've been waiting to talk to somebody about this. We've been meaning to have a conversation. And they don't know how broke, busted, and disgusted you are, but you just happen to be there with your smile on. You know what I mean? And that one policy you write makes you more than you would make in a job in 7 months in one home. You know what I mean? So that's my step 2. I got one more, but hey, so let's do this. So I know, okay, how much time we have? Oh shit, we were supposed to end at 9:30. I know you're planning on, so we've got 10 leads coming in a week for in person, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your goal that you want to be making monthly, like net? Like whether it's now, a year from now, like, hey, what's a goal, an income goal? Is it like, what's one of your goals that you really have for personal production? Is it making 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 15,000? Like, what's a goal that you're like, I can see myself doing it, and that's my first goal, financial goal.
Well, I mean, after seeing some of the other people just in our group, issue paying, 20, 30,000 a month, like, I don't see why, with all the coaching and teaching and, just all the resources, why I couldn't do the same thing, if I just apply myself.
Yeah.
So, so 15, said it, like Hector Lamarck says in some of those audios you've sent me that I've listened to, like, he's like, yeah, on my yearly goals, I set to make, 500,000, but, oh, dang, it sucks. I made $400,000 this year, like, so for me, like, if I set a goal to make 20,000 and I only make 15,000 in a month, then, whoopsie, I made 15,000, so that's kind of where I'm at. I think 20,000 a month, being deposited in my bank account within, hopefully, at the end of a year of doing this would be kind of my goal.
Yep. And like I said, I was talking about the overworked, underpaid thing, and I said, just make it a year. I said, I'm still buying leads now. You're buying leads. Most of us are buying leads, but a lot of us have current clients that have been in the business for 2 to 3 years. Mark Hutchison's a great example. And there's other people that have been here for 20 years. He's been here for 12, where he hasn't had to buy a lead in 4 years because he's gone out there and built his pipeline where he has referrals coming in. He has policies he needs to convert, and he can sit at home in his underwear and make $250,000 a year on 2 days a week from Hilton Head Island or from wherever. So all that driving and no-shows and this and that, all that stuff, you're going to get paid on these policies over and over again. And you become somebody's agent for life. You get referrals, you get their kids. When there's a death claim, you take care of it. You get referral. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that newbies don't see on the back end that we're doing, that if you just stick around long enough, you'll figure that out, and we'll teach you how to do all that stuff. So just be here long-term. And so I like that 20 to 30,000 a month in issue paid premium. That's going to qualify you for all of our trips. Okay, which at boot camp, you guys are going to get to hear. As you guys know, there's still 3 months left. We've got Cabo in 2025. We got a bunch of people who've already qualified. We got people that are knocking on the door. We've got 3 full months left. Okay, so you can go out there and crush it. One big annuity can put you over the top. I mean, we've had people that literally sign up and get their license at like mid-September, end of September, and they qualify for the trip. And there's people that have been right in business half the year and they've already given up. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you don't know what's out there. Okay. You go pop an $800,000 annuity. That's 90,000 points, put you over the edge like that. I mean, it's out there. Okay. So what I love about the business and what I love about this is, like, even not just with the Alliance, but just insurance as a general, financial services is number one every single year. It's more than real estate, and it's more than in technology. Financial services, which includes insurance, stocks, bonds, money managers, all retirement, which is all the stuff we do. It's number one every single year for most new millionaires created. Like we are this, it's not just the Alliance. There's tons of people that can go out there and change their life in this, but you're not going to go out. People don't make 200,000, 300,000, $1 million a year and don't have skills. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Just like you go see a bodybuilder in the gym. That's what I love about people that work out. Like you can tell, like when I go see a guy at the gym and he's not just big, but he's like ripped. I'm like, clearly that guy doesn't just work out. He's got his diet is under control too. Like he's prepped his meals. He's got his protein. He's doing all the stuff. You know what I mean? And so the skills that it takes to get in really good shape are the skills here. You just got to learn them, but it doesn't happen overnight. But it can happen a lot faster than you think. I mean, we never made more than, 70 grand in a year before this, and then made way more than that our first year, and we're making 4 or 5 times than that now. So, or more. So, it can happen really, really fast. And this is my 3rd full year. So it's not like there's been people in the Alliance for 20 years, and there's people that make way more than myself or Nick or whoever. And so just, grow at your own pace, continue to come to trainings, get better and get better. So, hey, we'll end it with this. So I'm going to finish some final thoughts. What are some things that, what excites you about this? Because I know, and everybody talk to your own upline. So don't, Eli's doing 10 leads a week in person. So he's doing some in person, but he's also going to be doing some virtual here. What are some either success stories you've heard, or what excites you about learning that aspect of the virtual leads?
Yeah, being able to work from work from the house one day. Like, let's say you got something going on at the house, you could put some dials in and put in at least 1 app a day or something like that. And then just saving some time. If you've got a busy week, if you got a vacation planned, or being able to, for me, like, I'm trying to get people recruited in this and like bring some people on to be able to build this up with me. So being able to like maybe fly back to Florida and meet with some friends and like show them this opportunity. Like if I'm in it, like when I left Family Reunion, I was doing dials in the Raleigh airport to come run leads or run appointments when I got back to Midland. So like for me, being able to like maybe write some apps while I'm on the go, I think that's a pretty awesome opportunity with the virtual.
Yep. And there's tons of stuff that you can do because you go down to Miami for 2 days. You can dial 1 day virtually. You can go to the beach with your family the next 3 days, and you can write off the whole damn trip because you're working down there. There's a lot of stuff that you could do. You could work from anywhere in the country. Hell, you could be in Puerto Rico. I've got a guy on the team, Michael. He's dialing from Colombia. So he goes down to Colombia, and he's made some sales. So you can. It gives you that aspect. So some people, find what works for you. I'm really lucky that I started in person and I got to learn the final expense in person and learn how crazy these people are, how awesome they are, but crazy. I've got stories today. You should see some of the pictures in my phone. But I was out there printing money, making it happen, learning the business, and then now I do most of the stuff virtual. So, but if I started that way, I would have sucked. I would have got destroyed. I'm glad I learned the business the way that I learned the business. So last thing here. So you guys, we got boot camp in 3 weeks. Okay. There's lots, if you don't have your hotel, there's lots of airports right around it. You literally, if you're like it's stressed to get off from work, the event starts Friday night, but it ends midday Sunday. Fly in Friday night, leave Sunday night. For those of you guys who don't know, we're going to be doing a team thing on Friday night after the training. So we're gonna be doing some fun stuff. All of us who that we have obviously the promotion going on. We're about to announce the winners of that, I think tomorrow or Wednesday. There's some of you guys who qualified for the Corbridge dinner. Everybody's welcome to come to Epcot with us. We're all going to Epcot on Thursday. We're gonna be singing "It's a Small World" We're going to be double fisting turkey legs, drinking beer, going on, the teacups and all that stuff. Everybody's invited to that. Some of you guys through the promotion have won your tickets paid for and all that kind of stuff. So that's Thursday. But look, it's Q4. Tomorrow starts Q4 for the rest of the year. And a lot of people just coast into the holidays and then they take the holidays off and they're like, I'm going to hit it really hard next year. Like, go crank it the rest of the year. Go make a shitload of money the rest of the year. Like, go change your family's life. Start putting away money. Put it away for Index Universal Life. Put it away for your retirement. Put it away for your future, for college kids' tuition, or just to take some stress off your back. Like, go work really, really hard. Go set some new goals. I just did my Q4 goals earlier today. One of them is hit that 10K bonus. I'm dumb. I'm literally dumb if I don't go out there and do that, because it's 10 grand. And I know I'm going to write 20 final expense applications in the next 3 months anyways. I might as well put most of them with Corebridge if they qualify. You know what I mean? So come up with your Q4 goals. All right. Shoot for the stars. If you fail and you land on the moon, it's better to have something big and fail and at least go further than you did than to shoot for not, it's better to be a laser beam than a flashlight. Like, be a heat-seeking missile on something, and even if you fail, you'll end up doing better than most people because they have no goals. They have no idea where they're going. And just get better every single week. Get your coaching. When you struggle and you're having shit weeks, like, get on the phone with somebody who's killing it that can walk you through it, because we've all been there. You just weren't there to watch. You weren't there when I had all these appointments or when I did my first batch of virtual leads and nobody answered the phone. And I'm calling Nick, I'm texting these people. I'm like, this does not work. Like, what am I doing? And I really found out, I thought I was dialing a lot. I was making like 32 dials in a day. And he's like, oh, dude, you got to be making like 200 dials in a day. And I like something like that. He goes, you can do that in 2 hours. If, let's say, your job, if you worked at an office and your job was a 9 to 5, and all you had to do was make $500 dials a day, and they paid you $1,000 for the day, but no guarantees of sales. You just had to hit the green button 500 times. And at the end of each day, we'd pay you $1,000. Would you do it? I'm like, yeah. He goes, why? Because you got a guarantee. That's a job mentality. He goes, here, you make 500 dials, you're going to make 4 sales. Most people are lazy. They make 22 dials and no one answers and they give up. So work as an entrepreneur mentality. Go out there and plant the seeds. If you plant the seeds, good stuff's going to happen. So we love y'all. Hey, let's go crush it this week. Q4 bonus. Go get that 10K. Proud of you, Eli. Thanks for jumping on, man. Let's go have a kick-ass rest of the quarter. And those of you guys, there's a lot of you guys close to Cabo, but you got to really crank it out the last 3 months. I'm going to be doing it. We got a bunch of people who are doing it. We've already had people that have qualified. Janet, Aaron, Andre's going to qualify this week. We got a lot of other people that are getting close. Man, we're going to be celebrating in Cabo. So, like, we got 3 months to go hit it hard, and let's go make it happen. So, hey, love y'all. Have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Eli.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Let's go.
Let's go.